What's up, guys? Welcome back for another Pokemon video. Today we're going to be ranking every single starter Pokemon. I hope y'all enjoy. Let's get right into it. All right, so first off, we're starting strong with Bulbasaur. Honestly, Bulbasaur's my favorite Gen 1 starter, so for that reason alone, I gotta put bro in S tier. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, next up, Charmander. Now, Charmander and Charizard are obviously like super basic picks, but low-key, I feel like they're kind of basic for a reason. But that being said, I don't feel like they deserve S tier, so I'm gonna put Charmander in A tier for now. A tier for now. All right, next up, Chespin. Honestly, Chespin's not my favorite. Definitely not my favorite. I'm about to put bro in D tier. I'm about to put Chespin in D tier. I'm sorry, Chespin fans. His evolution line just low-key is not it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Next up, though, we got Chikorita. And Chikorita actually is my first starter I chose in my first run of Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So for that reason, there's kind of some nostalgia for me. But I know most people would rate Chikorita like a C or D. But I'm going to bump her up to B purely for nostalgia. I love Chikorita. She has W vibes. B tier for me. Now, Chimchar. I freaking love monkeys, bro. Monkeys are actually my favorite animal. And Chimchar is just so elite, bro. In the anime, Infernape, oh my gosh, bro. Actually incredible. This goes easy S tier. Easy S tier. Infernape, Chimchar. Yeah, I freaking love it, dude. I freaking love it. Next up, Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil is goated. I'm not gonna lie to you. Cyndaquil, after my original run with Chikorita, I restarted my save file because I was like 10 years old, and I chose Cyndaquil, and I was like, yo, this guy is lit, bro. Cyndaquil is so sick. He's not quite S tier for me, but he's definitely A tier. Typhlosion, I know the accusations, but he's innocent, bro. He's innocent. Okay, it was a ditto. But yeah, I think Cyndaquil is pretty sick. A tier for sure. All right, now Eevee. I did actually play through Let's Go Eevee, and Eevee was a really solid starter, but in my mind, Eevee just isn't a starter Pokemon. So for that reason, I'm just going to put her in B tier. But Eevee's solid. I love Eevee as a Pokemon, but as a starter, I'm not really sure if she deserves A or S tier. Now, Finnegan. Finnegan, I'm not going to lie to you. I used to be a D1 Finnegan Delphox hater, but now they've low-key grown on me a little bit, but still they're not quite as good as these for me. So I'm going to put Finnegan in our first C tier. Finnegan's going to be C tier. Again, they're not awful. Just not my preference. You know what I'm saying? Now, on the other hand, Froakie, oh my gosh, Froakie is actually so elite. Froakie, Frogadier, Greninja, dude, one of the best evolution lines in the entire game for me. Froakie is a no-brainer S tier. Froakie is just so goated, bro. In the anime, he was so cool. I just love Froakie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm low-key a Glazer. I don't care. All right, next, Fuecoco. Now, Fuecoco is actually the starter I chose during my Scarlet and Violet runs. And let me tell you, bro, Skeletors with Torch Song is the most broken thing in the game. It carried me through so many fights, but I'm hesitant to put him in S tier. So I think Fuecoco is going to go high A for me. He has immaculate vibes. The design on his final evolutions are a little basic in my opinion, though. But he's still a really great starter Pokemon. Would recommend. So next up, Grookey. Now, Grookey was actually my starter for my Sword and Shield playthroughs. He's my boy, my go-to. But compared to the other starter Pokemon from all the other generations, I feel like Grookey is just kind of eh. So I'm going to put him right above Chikorita in B tier. I feel like that's pretty fair. It just doesn't really amaze me like the other ones do. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, next one we got Litten. Now, Litten is my boy, my OG Alola starter. I freaking love Incineroar. Incineroar is so iconic, bro. I love that guy. Litten's gonna go, wow, I just realized I have all the fire types up here, but it's just a coincidence. Litten's gonna go high A tier for me. I love Incineroar. Darkest Lariat was so sick, dude. I don't know, I like cats too, so maybe I'm just biased for that reason, but Incineroar is pretty sick in my opinion. Now, next up, we got my GOAT, Mudkip, bro. I literally picked Mudkip almost every time when I played Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. It's just amazing, bro. I love Mudkip, Marshtomp, dude, all of them. They're just freaking incredible. And don't even get me started on Mega Swampert, bro. Oh my gosh, I used to love that thing, dude. Mudkip's gonna be an S tier. Mudkip's an S tier. Mudkip's an S tier for sure. Now, Oshawott, Gen 5, Black and White were my first ever Pokemon games I actually played through. But with that being said, Oshawott, he's okay. You know, he could have been better for sure. I think he's a solid B tier for me. Now, Pikachu. I've never actually used Pikachu in a playthrough before, so I don't have any hands-on experience with this one. But I feel like he's kind of in a similar camp to Eevee, where like he's not really a starter Pokemon in my head. So for that reason, we're just gonna put Pikachu in low B tier. All right. Piplup. Piplup, my penguin pal. I freaking love Piplup. I'm not gonna lie to you. All Sinnoh and Hoenn starters for me are low-key just elite. Piplup's gonna go high A tier. Our first non-fire type in A tier is gonna be Piplup. All right, next up we got Popplio. Popplio for me was a little bit disappointing. I'm not a huge fan of his evolution line, but it's grown on me a lot. It's pretty solid. I think he belongs with Fennekin, a solid C tier. I rock with Popplio. I like the vibes. Primarina's pretty cool. I kind of wish he had a different male and female evolution line, but, you know, it's a pretty solid Pokemon overall. I can't hate. Now, Rowlet is my second favorite Alola starter. Rowlet is so goated, bro. Look at his bow tie, bro. He's actually so adorable. I freaking love Rowlet. Rowlet's an easy A tier. Easy A tier. Our first grass type in A tier is going to be Rowlet. I freaking love Rowlet. Decidueye is so sick. Let's put him below Litten, though. Litten is still a little bit cooler in my books. But yeah, that's a pretty solid rating for Rowlet, I think. All right, now we got Scorbunny. Honestly, I'm just not a huge fan of any of the Sword Shield starters, so they're all kind of going to be lower on my list. But Scorbunny, I just never really rocked with Scorbunny, chat. I'm sorry for all you Scorbunny fans. I'm just not a huge Scorbunny guy. He's got to go D tier for me. I'm sorry, but he's still a really cool Pokemon. He's just not my favorite compared to all these. You know what I'm saying? All right, next up we have Snivy. Okay, so there's kind of a story behind this one. When I first got Black and White, Snivy was my favorite Pokemon. Superior, I thought was the coolest Pokemon ever. So there's so much nostalgia for this Pokemon for me. And Snivy is low-key one of the reasons I got so invested in Pokemon in the first place. So for that reason, Snivy, I gotta stay loyal to my boy, stand on business. We're putting Snivy in S tier. I know it's a hot take, but for me, there's just so much nostalgia and emotional attachment to it, I have to. Now, next up, we got Sobble. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the Galar starters, but Sobble and Inteleon is actually pretty cool. I like the idea. I feel like it wasn't super finalized or polished when they came out with it. I feel like they could have done better. But Sobble's solid. I'll put him in a solid C tier with Fennekin and Popplio here. Next up, we have the last Gen 1 starter, Squirtle. And honestly, I just love all the Gen 1 starters because they're all just so iconic. How can you not love the Gen 1 starters? But for me, I feel like Squirtle is probably my least favorite out of the three, but they're all pretty close. So I'm gonna put Squirtle low A tier. He's super solid. Love Blastoise, Mega Blastoise. They're all sick, but he's just not quite as good as the other ones for me. Now we got my boy Tepig. Don't get me wrong, I freaking love Tepig, but the rest of his evolution line just drags him down so much, man. I feel like they fumbled this design so hard, making him bipedal. For me, he's got to be high D, low C. I'm gonna put my boy the high D tier. I'm sorry, Tepig. I love you, but Imbor is Pignite. They're just not it. They're just not it. I'm sorry. Hopefully he gets a good regional form, like a Hisuian form or something like that to redeem him. But for now, he's got to stay in D tier for me. Now, next up, we got another Hoenn starter, Torchic. I freaking love Torchic. When I saw Mega Blaziken in the anime for the first time, bro, I was like, holy crap. That's the coolest thing ever. So for that reason, Torchic's going to be high A tier for me. I freaking love Torchic. I'm not going to lie. I actually had a Torchic in my Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. I played through him Teriyaki, and he was my GOAT. So shout out to him. All right, next up, we got Totodile. Totodile is definitely a solid starter, but he's just not my favorite. My friend actually had a level 100 for Alligator in his Soul Silver playthrough, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So for that reason, we're going to put Totodile high B tier for me. Now we have our final Hoenn starter, Trico. I freaking love Trico. I'm not going to lie to you. The whole Trico evolution line is just so sick. And for that reason, he's just going to go high A for me. I love Sceptile. Mega Sceptile, I think, is really sick with the dragon typing. I just love Sceptile. I love Trico. It's just sick. And now, last but certainly not least, we have Turtwig. Now, for this one, the first time I ever saw Pokemon was a playthrough on YouTube of Pokemon Platinum, and the guy in that playthrough chose Turtwig as his starter. And so after that, I just thought Turtwig and Torterra were like the coolest Pokemon ever. So for me, just like Snivy, Turtwig just has so much nostalgia. He's got to go top of my S tier just for that reason. Now, here's our final list, guys. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm sorry, Tepig, Scorbunny, and Chespin fans. I don't hate y'all. Like I said, though, this is an opinion-based list, so if you have a different list, that is totally okay and totally valid. Comment your top 5 favorite starter Pokemon and subscribe for more Pokemon content. I'll see you all next time. Stay blessed.